Hello, today I'm going to talk about Kurt Cobain's family system. Do you remember who was Kurt Cobain? Kurt Cobain was a singer very popular in the 90s. He was the main singer in the group Nirvana. And they say that he committed suicide in April 5th, 1994. Kurt Cobain, so the first thing that I have found is that Kurt Cobain's, he had a middle name that it was Donald. His father's name was also Donald, and his grandfather's name was Don. Donald is the same root, it's almost the same name. He had a mother and a father who lived together up until he was 9 years old. When he was 9 years old, they got divorced. And at one point, he was homeless. So he was living in one place, in another place, in another place. He lived for a period of time with his paternal grandparents. That is the one that his name is Don. But Don had a drinking problem. This is a paternal grandfather. Don had a drinking problem. And I have said before that when someone had any type of addiction, it's because there is a missing father in the family system. So guess what? The father of Don, that it would be the great grandfather of Kurt Cobain, his name was, I don't have his name here, but it was Arthur, I think, and he was a deputy sheriff. Leland Elmer, that was the name of the great grandfather. Leland Elmer. That was the grandfather, sorry. The great grandfather was Arthur. The great grandfather, he was a deputy sheriff, and he died when he in 1938 on September 8th, 1938, the office, public office, the police office, they said that it was an accident, that the pistol discharged. But the family claimed all the time that it wasn't an accident, that he got killed. That's the missing father. And that's what his son was around 14 years old. So his son, that is Don, that is the grandfather of Kurt Cobain, he develops alcoholism. He has an addiction because there is a missing father. But guess what happened? Kurt Cobain, by the fact that he has the middle name Donald, he repeats the story of his grandfather because of the missing father. But there is something else. In different statements, in different interviews, Kurt Cobain said that his father was very distant and he almost felt abandoned by his father. So there he received that information and he thought that there was a missing father as well, correct? He also said about his mother that that she got weird after the divorce with his father, that she will put me down a lot. She will call me a freak or tell me I was embarrassing her. He felt she prioritized her new relationships over him. And you can see if you are under 18 years old, you are supposed to be still in your family's house. But he didn't even have a house. He didn't have any safe space, neither with the mother, neither with the father. They both remarried. So that's one huge part about that story. He was repeating the story of the missing father. But when you see the numbers of his birthday, he was born on February 1967. And that when I add up those numbers, it gives me, and I just convert them in one single digit, it gives me a number 9. The number 9 is the hermit. The number 9 is a person with depression. It's a person always connecting with the past. It's a person that is most of the time sad. It's a person that is connected with someone at least 2 generations up above you, with the story. That's what this soul is always connected to the past and cannot look to the present. It's always looking backwards. It's always looking to the back. The other thing is that when he talked about his mother, and when someone commits suicide, it's not only that you are depressed. It means also that you lack the strength to live. It wasn't, or you didn't accept it, or it wasn't transmitted. And the mother, when she got pregnant, she was only 20 years old. And there is this album that he made in 1993 that is called In Utero. And I think that somehow he tells the story of how he felt abandoned, neglected maybe, and rejected from his mother, right? He didn't feel that the mother was providing enough nurturement to him. There is one thing that is very important to know. You remember when the great-grandfather died because of an accident, but I think that it wasn't an accident. The grandfather was only 15 years old at that time. And what happened to Kurt Cobain when he was 15 is that he was homeless. He didn't have a home. He chose, in fact, his parents found him in a street or something. He was living on the streets. But that is important to know because when the grandfather dies and he's an alcoholic, the father was 27, almost 27, the same age than Kurt Cobain. So you can match some dates, you can match some times, you can match some years in the life of someone to see how they are connecting to each other. One more thing is that they both parents, they remarried and they both have other kids. So he has half siblings. And he said in one interview, he said this: my mom basically kicked me out when I was 15. That was the age when that great grandfather died, and that grandfather was 15. She couldn't handle me. I don't blame her now, but it hurt then. Then he said about his father, I tried hard to have a father, but instead I had a dad. So he spent 8 years not talking to his father and another years not talking to his mother. So for him, there was not support. The ones that needs to support you when you don't feel okay are your parents. He didn't have it. I felt like neither of them, his parents, really wanted me. It made me hate authority, hate family, hate everything. He was blaming both of his parents for those feelings of abandonment that he always had. Then he also mentioned in one interview that I'm trying to move this. Okay. He said like that the mother said, I wish I would have known what was going on with him, so I would have been able to help him better. Well, if something happened in the past and someone is dead, there's not much that you can help, right? If you say I wish, that I wish doesn't exist. One more thing is that he said one interview, I always felt like an outsider. I didn't belong. When someone tells you I didn't belong or I feel that I don't belong, it's because someone had a tragic death in the past in the family system, because someone hasn't been seen in the family system. And I think that the beginning of this situation for him, for his soul, was the death of the great grandfather. The great grandfather's death they didn't receive any justice because they think that it was he got killed. The other thing is that the grandfather was only 15 years old when he lost his father at the peak of being an adolescent, turning into his hormones and everything was changing. And he became a drinker. He was drinking alcohol because he needed to feel that trauma with something else, and then the repetition of the names that are very important in this case. So again, I'm going to wrap up this idea. When you see suicide, you have to see how was the connection of the mothers of the system, but also to see how the person used to express or say the things that the person used to say about his own parents. That's very important because then in that language, it's going to tell you what was his pattern, what was the issue, what was the imbalance, right? When he said like I felt all the time like an outsider, he's basically saying like I didn't felt seen, I didn't belong. This is all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and please give a like to this video if you really enjoy it and share it. Thank you.